Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hello and welcome back to What's on Tap podcast, where we have another episode fueled by coronavirus. It's fueled by coronavirus because the beers were bought from a web shop
during the coronavirus.
Yes.
And where'd you get these said beers?
Omnipollo web shop.
Excellent. What made you want to pick these two beers?
I had never bought anything from the Omnipollo web shop ever. And I just went through web shops buying a lot of stuff from a lot of different places.
Yeah. I think the frustrating thing about the Omnipollo web shop is that you think, oh, Swedish brewery. No. Belgian brewery.
Yes.
Belgian shipping prices.
It's free shipping to Sweden if you go over a certain amount.
But I think their amount's quite high.
Like 800.
Is it 800? I thought it was more than that.
Something like that. I don't remember.
All right.
It was a while ago.
Okay.
But what we have here is two beers that seem to go together.
Yes.
I'm not sure that they do. I think that they do.
Well, they're both pale ales. One's described as a hazy pale ale, and one's just described as a pale ale.
Yeah.
But I would argue that they're both
hazy
pale ales. One is made with Idaho 7 and Citra, and the other one's made with Galaxy and Citra. So these are, I would say, very similar beers.
Yeah.
With the exception of one hop difference. And they both come in at 5.3% ABV. So I would say
they're probably the same beer.
One
is called Squares and one is called Spirals.
Yes.
It's very abstract.
Yes.
We've moved one step away from beers and now we're art critics.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And I will say, I always like Carl Grannon's art. I think he does amazing packaging for...
Pretty cool. If you just look at the can, you go, what beer is
it?
Looks
like a Doppler effect, kind of.
Yeah.
For the Squares.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so I guess we'll start with Squares.
Sure.
Which again has the Idaho 7 and Citra.
Yeah.
It
smells kind of hoppy.
Yeah, it's very hop forward.
Yeah.
I get maybe a little vanilla on those.
Maybe. Yeah.
Very, very hazy. Very nice. Head retention. It's very kind of pillowy looking. Yeah, looks great.
It looks pretty good. Cheers. Quite bitter.
I don't find it overly
quite
bitter.
Fruity.
I find it... There's a bit of bitterness to it, but I don't find it to be like overly bitter. I think it's pretty well balanced and smooth.
Yeah. There's a weird sub flavor. I can't put my finger on it. I let that marinate. It's not a good flavor. There's something weird under the surface here. I wouldn't say artificial.
No. And to be honest, when it comes to IPAs, I don't go to Omnipollo first.
No.
I don't think it's one of their strong areas. I think their stouts are usually pretty interesting, but they've gotten crazy with the adjuncts there.
The double IPAs are usually pretty potent and flavorful.
Yeah, this what was it called? Space Cookie, and those have been really good. The versions of that.
Covered in Puppies.
Covered in Puppies was really good.
We're just saying collabs now, I think. Covered in Puppies is Trillium.
Space Cake is Monkish.
Oh.
Space Cookie.
Space Cookie
is Monkish. Yeah.
What I think that Omnipollo has managed to penetrate the market of the non-beer nerds.
I think so too.
They've gotten quite mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, I think their mango, lassi, goza, whatever crazy ass concoctions are usually pretty interesting, and I think I like their sours a bit more than I like a lot of their other stuff. Because for me, their stouts have just become kind of, I don't even know what they're doing anymore. There's just so many adjunct flavors involved and crazy combinations that it's almost kind of like, I don't even know. That seems like I'm going to die from some sort of chemical poisoning or something. There's too many things going on in that beer. But even with their goses, they're still pretty over the top, and blueberry pancake, peanut butter chocolate, mango lasagosa or whatever, they're.
But I think this would appeal to a newbie. I think this would appeal to a mainstream beer drinker who's used to a store stark.
Oh, I think so too. I think
it's not a bad pale ale. It's just.
I think if you had never had a pale ale before, you didn't know what to expect. There is a bit of a citrusy notes to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super familiar with Idaho 7 hops, so I can't really say what that brings to it. But I think it's a good beer. I think, like you said, if you're doing an introduction to getting people away from a Pilsner or your Storstag, I think this would be a good way to go.
Yeah, I think we should compare them. So I think we should go to commercial break so we end up at the next beer soon.
All right, we'll take a break and then we'll come right back.
And we're back.
Yes.
Now we're going to try Spirals.
All right. And again, this is Galaxy Citra Pale Ale.
That's a combination that I think I like. I think I've had Galaxy Citra beers before that really hit the spot. This one smells... It doesn't smell as much as Squares.
Yeah? I mean, I get more of a hoppy nose off of the Squares.
Yeah.
Whereas the Spirals is...
subdued.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm worried about this one.
Uh-oh.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So, I was afraid I was getting a little butterscotchy nose to it. Oh, this might be a little buttered popcorn.
Is it buttered popcorn?
It's not.
No?
I don't think I think it's almost on the edge of that. There's this one definitely is drier and more bitter.
Yes.
Than the other one.
I thought you were going to say soapy because here I'm getting a tiny bit of soapiness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I can see where you might get that, but I think it's okay. It's a little more. It's a lot drier. It's a lot more bitter than the Squares.
I think I like Squares more.
I definitely like Squares more.
Yeah.
But I think it's only because I'm comparing them side by side. I somehow feel like if I had Spirals on its own, again maybe in a different connotation,
maybe
a warm summer day and you're drinking this kind of like dry, bitter pale ale, I think it would probably be really enjoyable. But I think compared to the Squares, which I think has a lot more balance and flavor and mouthfeels, is much more enjoyable. I think it pales in comparison.
So what we're saying is that Spirals is losing from the comparison, but Squares isn't really benefiting from it. Squares is just still the same beer as it was before.
Yeah, I don't think it's benefiting from it at all.
And this leads to the discussion: are these supposed to be drank together? We are only drinking them together because I interpreted the marketing of them. Spirals and Squares, equal percentage, same style, different hops. I just assumed that this was a pair. Like a pair or a series of beers where I just didn't have triangles and squigglies. But maybe that's just in my head. And this is becoming more and more a thing where brewers are putting out series of beers that aren't necessarily marketed as such.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's the case here. I think these are just meant to be enjoyed and maybe not as a set.
Yeah.
But I could also see them selling these as a Pale Ale set.
Yeah,
Like to try
exactly.
all of the different like Omnipollo Pale Ales.
Exactly. So these came from an Omnipollo box where the rest of the beers were like a part of a series. Like you say, the Mango Lassi.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. They have the Tefnut. Okay, those are sours flavored in different variants. And the cans look very similar except for color variations. So when I was dividing up the spoils of that box, these two just stood out as a pair that should be enjoyed together. And I don't get it. It doesn't feel... They don't feel like they go together, especially when the spirals is kind of losing from the comparison.
I completely understand. Like, one of the things I have enjoyed about Omnipollo is their variations on a theme. So
Exactly.
they do the mango Lhasa Goza, and they do the Anon series, and they do the Death Nut, and they just keep doing like variations on one particular style. And like, so when you look at these, they've got 5.3% alcohol, you've got Citra, you've got Pale Ale. They're both hazy, even though one of them doesn't say that. It still
And they're named and
feels like,
styled as like these abstract, like squares and spirals.
yeah,
Of course they're going to be had together.
yeah. So it feels like there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the same comparison.
No. But no one has told us that we're supposed to drink these two together.
Yeah, but I think they should be, you know, tried in series. I think you know, any brewery they put out stuff, you should be able to try them. And
I think they should at least expect that beer nerds like us, because anyone who has listened to What's on Tap podcast knows that we love series of beers or groupings of beer. One beer in many barrels, whatever. Oh, Stefan is put on his serious face.
Yeah.
He's moved away all other items on the table. He's seriously trying these beers next to each other. Smell, taste. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
All right, are you ready to rate?
Yeah, yes I am. So Squares is the better of them.
I have to agree.
And I'm going to give it a 3.5.
I will also give it 3.5.
The Spirals, I'm going to give as low a rating as 3. It's that big of a difference for me. I think you like it more than I do.
Actually, I'm going to also give it a 3.
Oh! The look on your face said that you liked it more than I did.
Well, the look on my face was I tried it again. I was just like, "Whew, that's that wasn't right."
No.
And now I'm getting much more of the kind of butterscotchy notes to it.
Yeah, the more air it gets,
it's
the worse.
warmed up. It's gotten a little more, a little more open, I guess, as you say, effervescent. Bingo.
Effervescent.
Yeah, not effervescent, but I mean, it's just the flavors of starting to peak a little bit more,
Yeah.
and in that, it's not doing it any favors.
It's not doing any favors. No.
Yeah. So yeah, 3.5, 3.2, 3.
3 and 3.5
Exactly.
from each. So on that note, you can find us on What's the Tap. You always do this one. I try
I know
now.
it's hard, isn't it? I know
It's hard.
It looks easy, but yet you get to ramble through it pretty fast.
What's on tappodcast.com, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes,
We are Pod Syndicate,
and wherever you can find good quality podcasts. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum dums.
I nailed it. Nailed it.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.